So, what happens if you mix the Vampire Survivors type of top-down, furious, dodging action game with the awkwardness of a driving sim type of game, also top-down? Well, you would be wasting your time if you did that, because it looks like the developer James Kelly has already done it and created Voltaic Harvest for the Ludum Dare 58 game jam with the collector theme. So we are collecting things. And it turns out what we're doing is we are a minion working for some sort of Frankenstein-style mad inventor who is looking for parts to build his latest body. But we've modernized a little bit, so instead of running around in a kind of 1800s context, we're driving around in a car that can pick up electricity from lightning, as is, of course, Frankenstein's standard modus operandi. And we can zap the hordes of, I'm not sure if they're supposed to be villagers or zombies or who's attacking us. There were like bats at one point. Spooky enemies that are attacking us. We can zap them. There is a boss that has the thing that we're trying to collect, and we can zap him. And then we try and pick up the thing that we need to pick up and bring it back to our castle. And that's the game in a nutshell. I'm going to show some gameplay. And then I will jump into some criticisms, some critiques, some talking about it a little bit. But while we're here, let's have a look at the options page. We have some graphics settings here. I'm on high. There is very low to very high. There are some sound controls as well, which is very nice. Very good quality of life settings. Bravo developer. There is a race mode. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to look at that just yet. We might have a look at it afterwards, depending on how well this goes. Otherwise, let's just jump in and play the game. And we get a little bit of a tutorial saying we're building a man. Simple as that. I'm not sure that's at all simple, but fine. But we are missing some of the parts. You need to go around and collect them from my neighbors. There are 3 in total. That's it. Just bring them back to the castle. It doesn't mention that the neighbors are bosses. So, we are driving a car. There is a waypoint on the map that is the car's navigation. It points us to where we're going, so it'll point us to the first boss, then we'll point us back to the castle once we've picked up the items, then we'll point to the second boss, and so on. We've just added an experimental lightning connector onto the car, so he's sending us with an experimental device. Great. Use it to power our gadgets. So we have the laser turret, which we just left click and fire. There's a boost button and a radial weapon. Right click for the radial weapon, I think it's shift for the boost. So yeah, that just sends a pulse out around us. And then there's little sparkles on the map, like you can see down there. That is a lightning strike charging up. And if we drive into it, or at least get close enough to it at the appropriate time, we pick up the lightning strike and it charges our battery. So yeah, movement is WASD, boost is shift, laser turret will fire wherever you're pointing. Radial weapons is right click or space for E. And cycle navigation is tab or enter. I don't know if you need to cycle it. It points at your current objectives. So sure. Anyway, so we got it. We're going to burst into action. So here we are. Press forward to drive. And we're driving backwards and forwards. And that's a lightning strike that we can then collect. There's our battery up at the top left. There's our health next to it. I think that is the radial effect, which is that thing, which has a cools down as well as using lots of power. And we can left click to fire our zapper thing. Not too many stuff that we can drive into around here, so the trees we can just drive through and so on. And here is the first enemy that is containing the thing that we need to pick up. We can zap him with that thing and drive around a bit. I'm actually taking a fair amount of damage there. But he does drop a heal as well, which is nice. Just want to charge up a bit. And then we can zap them again. He seems to be wanting to collect something from us because he runs towards us, which is nice. I'm failing horribly at this. I'm trying to think of too many things at once. Let's get a bit of charge up. Oh, I shouldn't have driven through those things. I don't know. Weapons, get some charges going. Just shooting wildly while I try to drive. I have to admit, this is actually surprisingly difficult. It's a lot harder than other Vampire Survivor type games that I have played. Oh, I got him. And I need to turn around, and I picked up all of the items. And we can head back to the castle and take it back to the laboratory. And we can go cha-ching. I think that's us having delivered it off. And now we need to work our way towards the next bad guy, who is the other side of, I think, a bit of a lake here. Can't drive into the water. It's about the only thing that you can drive into that stops you. There we go. I think this is where I need to be. Let's try and get some power here. I'm taking damage quite speedily there. Well, I'm trying to do this. Taking too much damage. This guy is harder to kill than the previous one. And I'm getting hits. Oh, there we go. Oh, can I get to some health in time? Yes, I did. And I failed for some reason. I'm not quite sure. Maybe I ran out of health just before I picked the health up. Although it does say I picked it up. I don't know if there's a time limit. I don't think so. But yeah, so that's the game in a nutshell. So I've shown the gameplay off there, and that's all of the gameplay I'm going to show. So if you are just here to see that, the link is in the description. Come and play this. I'm sure you'll be able to do significantly better than me. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you do. And I mean, otherwise, comment and like and subscribe either way, because I will be doing more games for Spooktober and more games on beyond that. And they will all hopefully be games that are fairly quick to jump into and get some entertainment playing, because that's what we do around here. We do the indie games that are quick to get, usually free, and are a lot of fun, and that's how you do entertainment these days. So yes, if you're just here for the gameplay and you are departing, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. If, however, you are here for some critique, well, that is what we're going to do now, so you're in luck. The critique is, first of all, the UI is pretty good. Quality of life controls, like I said, very, very impressive, very, very, very well done. Bravo, developer, you've given us the good stuff there. The sounds are pretty good, not quite bassy enough to be a little bit staticky, a little bit sort of strangely lowish in quality, at least to my ears. I don't have a sound engineer's ears, so maybe they're actually amazingly good sounds, but to me they just sound a bit staticky and not anywhere near bass enough. Thunder's not bad, but yeah, and the music's pretty good. It's quite high energy music, but I don't know. There's an edge there in the sounds that I'm not getting. So they're absolutely fine for the purpose of the game and obviously for the game jam, but they could do with a bit of flesh, a bit more depth to them. The art is quite similar, actually. I mean, it's good art. It's fine. I can sort of see what's going on, at least after I got used to it. There's a lot of fine detail that the pixely art doesn't represent easily, so you have to kind of get used to it for a moment, and then you understand it. It's cute enough. It's a fun little Vampire Survivor style game. It looks good for that. So yeah, so I have very little critiques for the art, other than the game is very busy very quickly. It would be nice if it slowed a little slower, so it gave you time to get used to what the map looks like, what the enemies look like, driving into things, and so on. So yeah, in terms of the sort of the base mechanics, I think the game is fine. There's some polish that could be added there, but at a game jam level, I think this is a really good offering. And this is where we come to talk about the feeling of the game, the gameplay, the enjoyment of it, and the immersion elements as well. Now, obviously, because it mentions it, if we press escape to look at the itch.io page here, it's loosely inspired by bullet heavens like Vampire Survivor. Anybody who's playing this is immediately going to start comparing it to the Vampire Survivor style games. And it struggles to compete with it because it's missing a few very basic elements. One of the elements is inherent to this game, and I think that's fine because it's what makes this game stand out. It's obviously the awkwardness of moving around. You have to move the car, you have to keep going forwards, you have to steer. You can't just shift into the cardinal directions at the touch of a button. You have to turn and steer around. That does make it harder, I think, to play than other Vampire Survivor games, but it is the interesting element that makes this an interesting game. But the bit that is missing, the bit that is fundamentally missing, are the upgrades. And in games like Vampire Survivor and I think it's called HoloCure, the HoloLive version of it, and things like that, they're the ones that I've played. You pick up money, and then you get upgrades from that money to make you tougher. And you can, if you have good synergies between the upgrades, you can build beastly machines that then fight furiously. And that's what I feel is missing here. You're suddenly thrown into this huge horde of enemies who are attacking you. You're blasting away. It's very chaotic. You're just barely surviving, and you're not upgrading. There's no progression, and you need that progression to really fire off the dopamine. And I think that's what's missing. You need to be able to upgrade the car. You need to, get possibly even quite silly upgrades that synergize with each other. And the game needs to start a bit slower, because I'm there. Like if I start, let's click through the tutorial, and then I'm here, and then immediately as I'm driving around, suddenly there's just enemies coming out of the wazoo, and there's a lot. This is a lot faster than I thought. I'm still trying to survive around, still trying to figure out what's going on, and suddenly I have these guys jumping on me. Like, what the hell's going on here? And then I'm looking for the first boss. Let's get up to the first boss here, and suddenly he's like firing things, and he's this huge guy that's attacking me, and the map is complicated here. Everything is just insanely like, what the hell's going on? This is obviously a graveyard. I've only just realized that now. So it was just this chaotic map, and I'm trying to fire things off here, and this is immediately difficult. And the problem with games that are immediately difficult is that they're not fun for people to start playing. I'm not getting any kind of dopamine reward for going, yeah, you're having this fun game and you're learning how to play it, and this is good, and you're gonna get it, and things like that. It would be nice if these enemies dropped health. I know the big boss man drops health as well, and also these enemies are not dying immediately when I shoot them. These are the level 1 enemies, the starting enemies. I should be annihilating them. And I'm not. I'm having to hit them multiple times to kill them, and it's just, I think, so the element that is missing from the game is really the progression elements. I mean, first of all, in terms of the map progression, is I'm fighting hard enemies in complex environments very, very quickly, so there is no starting thing like progression of, here are some simple enemies that you can kill quite easily, and then you've gotten used to maneuvering, and here is a boss and you can get him quite easily, and now you're better at maneuvering, and now here are some medium difficulty enemies that you can kill not quite so easily, except that there are upgrades. So here are some upgrades that make you better for you to kill these enemies, and maybe the upgrades don't climb quite as fast as the enemy difficulties, so it does keep getting harder as you learn it, but there needs to be this idea that you are just behind the fight when you're still quite a badass, not here is the swarm that you're desperately trying to survive against, because that's not really Vampire Survivors other than the key moments where you get kind of crowded by the swarms, but that shouldn't be the whole game. That should just be moments in the game. So I mean that's my feelings of the gameplay side of things, is that there isn't enough progression. It is too sharp, it is too immediate, and there's no upgrades. And upgrades really are a powerful dopamine element in Vampire Survivor games. So there needs to be this tree of upgrades added as kind of a future development of the game. And again, remembering this is a game made for a game jam, it is limited by the fact that it is a game made for a game jam. Whatever the constraints of the game jam are, I think this might be limited time or something along those lines. Either way, I am talking post game jam. Make this game a really popular game that you might even end up charging money for. Here are the things it needs, and it's a lot more progression elements and a lot more kind of enemy progression to make it a lot more fun to a much wider variety of people. And you can have different sort of difficulty levels and things like that as well. But yeah, there needs to be a progression, and ideally a multi-layered progression with the roguelite elements. So there should be stuff that you pick up in the game, but then there should be stuff that you're able to spend on after you die, so the next time you play the game, your base starting level is more powerful. And that is the kind of progression that Vampire Survivor style games really thrive on. Here are these multiple layers of character stats, essentially, of various kinds, whether they're items or upgrades or whatever. But yeah, build that in, because that is the dopamine inducing that really makes these games popular, makes people love these games. And this game is very, very interesting to play. I love the idea that we're in a car. I love the idea that it's this weird rainy night and we're going out to fetch body parts or whatever, clockwork hearts. I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, I want to see this game do well, and it needs upgrades, and it needs to be a little bit easier, especially at the beginning. It can be horribly hard sort of near the end game, wherever that is. But yeah, make it easier at the beginning. And ideally, well, let's see what race mode is like. What is race mode about? This was added after the submission deadline. Okay, so the Ludum Dare 58, I think, has finished in the submissions. It's currently in the voting section, and this bit, don't look at it just in terms of your voting, but let's see what this is about. I keep forgetting about the boost thing. Do we still get the lightning? We don't get to shoot anymore, so this is now moved away from the actual combat side of the game, which is a bit of a pity, because why not have combat elements in here as well? I mean, your engine's already got all those elements in them, so where's the combat element? This is relatively fun. It's like Micro Machines or whatever it is. All right, so we've done a lap. I'm not gonna play. I'm not that into racing games, so different menu that pops up. Anyway, so there's a race mode, but there's no upgrade mode. There's no longevity mode in the game or anything like that. Vampire Survivors is you keep fighting as long as you can survive, and you just keep doing it to see how you survive. It needs those elements in it. It needs that to give the game longevity, but it needs upgrades to give the game popularity. You need to be able to boost your character. And then the final critique is, of course, the immersion elements. Like, what the hell's going on? Who has sent us to build a man? Why is that simple? Who are the enemies who are attacking us? Why do we have this car with electric weapons and things on it? All of that kind of stuff is obviously missing, again, for the game jam. It needs to be included. We need to know what the hell's going on, and whose flag we're rallying behind, and all of that kind of stuff. Those are my usual critiques, the usual things that I think are necessary for this kind of stuff. So all of that's missing. So again, if you want to take this game and make a big post jam, throw those things in there, and I think they will do an awful lot to make people go, this is a good game to play. I'm enjoying this. But that's just my opinion. To take it at whatever face value you feel it deserves. And honestly, thank you for listening. And that's it. That's it from me. I'm going to play this some more. I hope you guys come and play it as well. Link is in the description. Give it a couple of clicks and you're playing an interesting game, and a good looking game, and a fun game. I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you and goodbye.